Welcome to our experiment, the 100-person project. I'm Bill Carell, and this is my investigation. Simple questions for 100 people. This is a research project to gather data from 100 beautiful human beings for the sole purpose to see what actually happens across the interviews. So the questions are fixed, and all the interviews will remain consistent with the variable being the actual participants themselves. And Melanie, it's as if I'm having you come and sit on my porch to share your ideas so I can learn about people. Although we're not sure what we're going to discover when we're done, we remain very interested in the people, the process, and your particular story. So you folks at home will get to know our guests through the interview. So let's dive in. What is your full name?
My full name is Melanie Meile.
Nice. What's your favorite nickname that most people don't know?
I don't have one. In fact, I am against having one. When I grew up, I had an older cousin named Melvin, and they called him Mel. So if people call me Mel, my mind goes directly to him, and it's not me. So it makes my back bristle.
That's funny.
The only
So,
people allowed are my sister and my brother.
and there's no other, pumpkin or anything of that nature.
Mom?
All right. Mom and not Mel. I get it. Okay, good. So, when did you first notice what color hair you had?
I believe it was probably 4th grade is as far back as I can remember thinking about my hair color, and that was because we had to do self-portraits. So,
How about that?
yeah,
Was that fun?
I'm not an artist. I can be creative, I can do graphics, I cannot draw.
Okay.
I'm trying hard.
Thankfully, there are tools that are available so you don't have to, right?
Camera.
Excellent. So, what is your favorite thing to do to intentionally waste time?
Play games on my phone. It's
Awesome. And
evil.
what, say again?
It's evil.
Oh, okay. So we're getting into the good stuff now. What games do you play?
I play well, I just deleted all of them. So, um but then I had a friend say, "Hey, you have to try Wordle," so I loaded that and, um, another survivor kinda game, I don't know, shoot 'em up type thing.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
What did it feel like, cutting the cord and saying, "I'm not doing this again," and then waiting for your friend to come and ask you to do something?
very, 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 very hard, um, because I would play for hours, and waste way too much time, and then when I got rid of all the apps, I would grab my phone to just out of reflex, and there was nothing there. So I had to find something else to do, which
Yeah,
was good, and I got a lot more productivity in. But every time it was like, oh my God, I don't have a game. Oh my God, I don't have a game. So yeah.
that those habits,
Hmm.
the the go-to thing, the first thing that's automatic, that's really very interesting for people, you
Yeah.
know?
Hmm.
So, games, that's pretty cool. What is your favorite movie to watch alone, Melanie?
The first half of Funny Girl.
That's a great movie.
I love it. Yeah. I love the music, but what I love is the whole empowering piece of it and how she's gonna make things happen for herself, and that's always been my credo. So I love it, but up until the point where he gets arrested, they have the divorce and all that, I stopped there because I don't want to mess up the I made it for myself. I didn't wanna watch and then it all fell apart.
Well, that's a pretty cool edit. I will take the empowerment, for 500. Thank you, Alex. I love it. Do you have a favorite scene, and are you generally a Streisand fan?
I do like Barbara Streisand.
Yeah.
Um, I would say, um, like when she goes, the whole "Don't rain on my parade, don't tell me how to live. I've
Boy,
seen
I'll tell you,
got
that's
to."
powerful, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, that just spoke to me, "Don't tell me how to live, I've simply got to." Like, that drive, like, "I have to do this."
Yeah.
And, yeah.
I I'm getting goosebumps. I can hear it in my ears when her voice cracks and yeah, unbelievable.
Mhm.
All right, so this is one of the cooler questions actually. If you were to have an action figure made of you, Melanie, what superpower would it have and what colors would its uniform be?
I would say the ability to read minds, that would really help me a lot because a lot of times people know what they want, but they don't know how to tell you.
Yeah.
So, it would be a great shortcut for me for work.
Yeah.
Um, and color, I would say like a deep grayish purple.
Deep grayish purple. Tell me more.
It was a color I knew I wanted in my house, and I couldn't find it. I kept getting paint chips, and I couldn't find it, and then one day in a magazine, it was somebody's color of the year, and I'm like, "That's my color!" So that's my color, yeah.
Good for you. So would you have a cape and would you try to hide your identity or would your mind reading be something that you just wouldn't tell people about and be able to do?
That's it.
A stealth superhero. I like it.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So the only other question that comes along with that is when you say reading people's minds, I'm in a course of study where we're talking about 80,000 thoughts per day, and that most people have competing thoughts in their mind at the same time. That's not even talking about your subconscious. So you could have up to 20 simultaneous thoughts, or things that are occurring in your mind, and the subconscious can have up to 20 million. So that almost sounds to me like, when we do the mind reading thing, on TV and movies and stuff like that, it's always one single voice, but it sounds like it's a room full of people that don't agree with each other.
Office. Yeah, you'd have to be able to zone in on a person,
Yep,
and then you'd have to be able to have a volume knob so that when you didn't want that inundation, you could turn it out.
perfect. So we've got mind reading Rev 2. I like it. Very good. So let me see here. What did you want to grow up to be when you were 5?
I wanted to do chemical research.
That's the first I've heard that one. Do tell me more.
I just loved it. I guess, I had a little chemistry set for kids kind of thing, and to be able to mix things and see what happens. And, um, when you're a kid and you're doing it, you don't know that there are set outcomes that if you mix this and this is what's going to happen. So
Yes.
everything is new and wide eyed.
Yeah.
As you get older and you start pursuing that as a field of study, you realize all of the repetition that goes
Yeah.
into it before you get to the point. Obviously, you have to hone your skills, but I just could not get through the dryness of repeating what everybody else has been doing.
Yeah. That is so cool. I mean, I probably didn't get my chemistry set until I was 8,
Mm,
but there were, logwood and phenolphthalein, also known
mhm,
as water glass, and you
mhm,
know, making different colored inks.
mhm.
That was my favorite because I don't know. Did you ever make any ink?
I well, I mixed ink colors at my dad's place, but I never made ink.
Well, we did that, and I also had a fountain pen that I could use the inks that I made. I made a blue
Ah.
one, I made a purple one, and a black one, and
That's
yeah. But that's all I remember. That was a minute ago. What were your favorite experiments to do with the chemistry set?
I think it was when you mix different chemicals and you got different colors. I think that was probably Yeah.
Yep. And did you have one of those little alcohol lamps with a wick that you could
Yes.
heat the test tubes with?
Yes.
We have lots to talk about, lots to talk about. The good, the bad, and the ugly. Some of it didn't turn out well.
I never made stink bombs. I had no interest in that. I never did, like, any big explosions, but,
You could make stink bombs?
of course you could.
Had I known, I'd have been all over that. Something with sulfur in it, I would imagine.
I'm sure.
Yeah. All right, so moving on from chemistry. Um, what is your greatest accomplishment?
I would say my greatest accomplishment is raising my 2 children to be kind, loving, and intelligent adults. That's the big one. Um, from a work perspective, it was my involvement with the Gizmo project, which helps grade school children understand and destigmatize mental health.
Wow.
Mhm. It's extremely fulfilling, and the stories you hear coming back of the positive impact it's having on young kids, it just blows you away.
Yeah. That's very, heart moving. Thank you.
Mhm, mhm.
Yeah. And how old are your children?
My daughter's 24 and my son is 28.
28. That's
Mhm,
amazing.
mhm. Grown kids doing
I
very well for themselves. Um, they're not the money people, they're both creatives, but I don't know, I guess I raised them to live within their means, have enough to support yourself, but not be so money driven that instead of pursuing your art, you have to be an attorney or you have to be an accountant or, something that didn't suit them. So I
right.
was all about follow your passion and do it in a way that you can pay your bills.
Yeah, the living in your within your means, is the first step towards being wealthy.
Mm, mhm.
It's
Neither
a
one will be wealthy. Nobody's gonna support me in my old age, so I'll be working for a while, but
well, the next step is
something I
saving
like.
at least saving at least $100 a month from the time that you're 20.
I've been telling them both that, but, whoosh.
It is what it is, right?
Mhm.
So, who is your favorite person to listen to, Melanie?
I can't anymore about my grandfather.
Yeah?
He's was very smart about everything, and, we were very close, and sometimes when I was at work, I would take my lunch break and go to his house and just sit there and talk, talk business, talk
Yeah.
life, and, my grandmother would make herself busy somewhere so that we had the opportunity to do that, and from my youngest day, I sat at his knee and listened to him.
Yeah.
Mhm.
That's cool. So, how old would your grandfather be if he were here now?
Oh gosh, maybe about 100? I'm really bad with dates and times and stuff like that,
Sure. But
but
that gives a little bit of perspective, you know?
mhm, mhm.
So it sounds to me like you got to experience your grandfather's wisdom in a way that a lot of people don't.
True, I mean, I had him around with me until I was, um, well married, so I was in my 20s, so, um, but it was still a devastation to lose him,
Yeah.
but but yeah, he was my champion, he was my rock, and the person that you could trust to sound things off, as a sounding board, um, so
Thank you for sharing that. That's
mhm,
very special.
mhm.
So the next question. Please complete this sentence. When I grow up, I'd like to.
When I grow up, I'd like to move to Arizona. Maybe before I grow up.
Yeah, you could rush that one.
Yeah.
What part of Arizona?
Um, it's about 20 minutes outside of Sedona. You can get to the rocks, but you can avoid the tourists.
Now, is that developed out there or are we talking
Mhm.
desert?
No, no,
Oh,
it's actually an old town, and it's like a real old main street, um, but it's going through a gentrification, if you will, and a renewal. Lots of really nice restaurants and vineyards, wine tastings, shops, things like that.
mm.
Um, there's so much to do, and I'm happy just being outside and walking around, taking pictures, and just enjoying the beauty of the area.
It sounds like a beautiful place to just kinda recreate yourself.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
The energy is like nowhere else.
So, what's the most important thing in life to you right now?
My relationship with my kids and my boyfriend. Um, yeah, that's everything. Work is great and I love it, but the most important thing, people, relationships.
Yeah, I'm just kinda letting that sink in a little bit because that's, again, very special, and I know simply because we know each other, I'm very much aware of how big those 3 people are in your life.
Mhm, mhm. And my sister as well.
Well,
Um,
yeah,
I don't see her as frequently because she lives far, but um, since my mom and my grandmother passed, we've gotten a lot closer and we make more effort to see each other. And our
yeah,
lives have kind of opened up a little more. So it's not, we've got this and that for the kids. And, it really prevents you from doing a lot. So we're both in a better spot where we can spend more time together.
yeah. Are you empty nested yet?
Mhm,
So,
definitely.
yeah, you
My kids went off to college, and oh, the worst thing is when Eli went to college, um, we we wanted to move. So my daughter and I go and we find a place. It didn't have a bedroom for Eli for when he came home. We just didn't even think of it. We didn't even tell him we moved. It just like slipped our mind. He
I
comes
see
home.
how much you care about him, yeah.
It was like, "Oh, you didn't know? I thought you knew."
That that's
But
funny.
yeah, I never wanted my kids to come back home. Um, I wanted them to be able to stand on their own 2 feet.
Yeah,
So, once they went off to college, it was with the understanding of, "I launched you. Go fly."
yeah,
Um, and, they're always welcome here to visit. I'm always here to support them, but they need to support themselves.
sure. And I think that's a very comical story, I really do. That was a commonly said thing in high school. My French teacher would say that, "You guys are so bad, your parents are gonna move and not leave a forwarding address." So you're
Yeah,
the
we
first
did that.
person that I know that's ever actually done that.
I can't believe we did it. I thought he knew, but
I think that is cute, it really is. And I'm sure you guys laugh about it a lot.
oh, we do. Yeah, he wasn't hurt about it. It was just like, "Oh, I thought I told you." "No, mom, you didn't." I'm like, "Sorry."
Oops.
You can have Blue Jay's room, and she can sleep with me in my bed. So, um, or if somebody sleeps on the sofa or whatever, but we make it work. It's just
I'm
tight.
I'm sure you do. That's what families are all about, right?
Yeah, so
Yeah, there's no place that's ever perfect. So whatever you do in that imperfect setting makes it perfect.
mhm, mhm.
Yeah.
Yep,
All right. Next question, Melanie.
mhm.
What would you like to leave in the world after your life is done?
I I guess what I would most like to leave behind are people who are kind and make a positive difference in people's lives. And that would be through my kids, through any interaction of someone I can help that puts their mind in a different place where they can help other people. Um, like this Gizmo project, helping kids get to the point where they can understand their mental health and take positive steps so that they can be positive in the world. Um, so I guess that's it.
It's terrific. Absolutely fantastic. So, do you ever go to the bakery?
Mm-mm. I don't know where it is.
Well, good bakers, when you go in and you order a dozen rolls, the good ones give you a 13th roll.
Oh, oh, I thought you were talking a specific business called the bakery.
No.
No, I know about baker's dozens.
I'm leading into the last question for you and out of this this routine, but the baker's question is, what is the thing that most people misunderstand about you?
I would say people think I'm stuck up.
No, I got to hear more about that. I would never have guessed that in a million years.
No? No,
No.
yeah. Um, because I can be quiet and kind of, like, to myself a little bit, um, yeah, even, like, when I was in high school and stuff, well, back then I needed glasses and I didn't know it, so I couldn't see who it was waving, I couldn't even see they were waving,
Yeah.
and I don't know, just I think people because I kind of maybe a little bit shy, they just think that I'm not interested and I'm stuck up,
Yeah.
but I'm not.
No,
Um,
I will tell you what, just in the sake of 100% transparency here, and you and I have been friends now, it seems like about 5 years or so.
mhm,
And I can recall when we first met, I want to say that it was a networking event at the Polish Club.
okay,
And I got a Printwise card from you, your business card.
mhm,
And I kept asking you questions, and they were very short answers.
mhm,
And I just really completely misjudged who you were at that moment, thinking that you were kind of like finding your sea legs in terms of, being out with people and just trying to get your business off the ground and all that. I had no idea who you were. And
yeah,
you're not that at all. You're just really powerful woman that makes things happen and is so committed. Once you get started with something, you forget to sleep.
mhm, I do. That's a sad fact.
Yeah.
They say people are happier if they get a full night's sleep, but
Yeah.
I don't find that true. I'm fulfilled when I'm working hard on a project and I work all night. I feel energized and enthusiastic. It's the opposite.
If I were gonna, look for the poster child of the ever ready bunny, that's definitely you.
All right.
No doubt about it. And so have people actually told you that they thought you were stuck up, or was that what you interpreted from their behavior?
I think it was my interpretation of their behavior, and people have said, not stuck up, but, like, judgmental but I'm not. Um, I used to be when I was 20, I knew everything and was Miss Get Your Act Together,
Yeah.
um, but as I've grown, I understand where people are coming from more, and I'm not at all, but yeah. I don't
Yeah, for
know.
the
I think it's
record.
because I tend to be, like, very professional, put together, like, I have my professional facade, if you will, and maybe that's why. I don't know.
Well, I'll tell you what, I am here to say that that is dead wrong,
Yeah?
and no, not at all. I think anybody who's willing to put the energy into getting to know you gets paid back in I mean, like, payloads, no
Mhm.
doubt about it. So, well, that completes our 13 questions, and at
Alright.
this is the point where I ask, my interviewees, you, Melanie, do you have any questions of me?
Mm, I mean, we've talked about so many things, so I don't know what I would specifically ask. I'm glad things are moving in the right direction for you for work, and, um I think you are perceived as a leader in any of the networking groups that I'm involved in. Um, so, yeah, maybe okay, here's one. What is it that makes you value your friendships so tremendously? more so than most.
This is so cool because I actually do have an answer for that.
Okay.
When I was really small, and I'm talking about before I was 5 years old, we lived in five different homes in three different cities. And by the time I was in third grade, I went to um, seven schools, and we'd had lived in 13 homes. So it sounds like probably an Air Force brat or something like that. But no, my dad was in the Air Force at the very beginning, and as we moved across the country, it was because he was taking successively more responsible jobs. And guess what? When you're in grammar school and you have to make new friends every year, uh, it got to be like to the point where I learned that if I opened up to people quickly, um, there was actually a period of time, probably in the second grade, where I kind of conned them into giving me something to remember them by. So I had this lunch full of all kinds of different things that these kids willingly gave up to me. But I'll tell you what, you're absolutely right. I would do anything for a friend, and I think most of my true friends know that. So I really appreciate that question. But I think it's a behavior that I picked up fairly early on in life. I'm the eldest of six kids, large family with cousins and all the rest of that, and we've always been very, very open and close to each other.
Mhm.
What a neat question for you to ask me. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Of course, of course.
Is that a good answer?
Absolutely.
Want to make sure you're
I
getting
would
your money.
expect no less.
Want to make sure you're getting your money's worth. Yeah.
All right.
So that concludes our interview today, and we are speaking with 100 beautiful human beings and asking them the same questions here on the 100-person project. And thank you all. It will be available to you on all of the standard 27 different podcast platforms. So I want to thank you again, Melanie, for giving us your time, your candor, and your beautiful smile and laugh. And thank you for that.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Bye-bye for
Bye.
now.
You've been listening to Simple Questions for 100 People, part of the Exvadio Podcast Network. You can find every episode at exvadio.com/podcasts, the Apple Podcast app, Google Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and wherever you find podcasts.